The sun shines brightly through the gap in the curtains, silently attempting to wake Anika. She snuggles as if it's Sunday. Suddenly, the alarm clock starts its tune, and Anika awakens as if electrocuted. She can't be late today because she needs to rush to Sarah's house. Sarah is Anika's one and only friend, and their bond goes beyond words. They have been friends since kindergarten. Anika, a 16-year-old, works hard in her studies with a dream of getting into her favorite college, just like Dave. Dave is the famous boy in her school, excelling in both studies and looks. Anika knows she has no chance to get close to him, but she always has a pleasant feeling when he is near. Whenever he approaches, she gets a strange sensation in her stomach, though she doesn't know why. Sarah, her friend, is quite good at pointing this out. Anika moves to the mirror, a place she has grown to hate over the years. She feels a sense of panic, thinking that her reflection will tear away from her and scream that she is not beautiful. Stumbling onto the chair, she got back to her senses. She gazes at the mirror with slight panic, but then senses that her reflection is going to change soon. She rushes to Sarah's house, where she promised to help her look more beautiful. Anika, with her round glasses and curly hair, doesn't fit the beauty standards, at least according to her main classmates. She despises to be around some girls in her classroom who often hurt her with their mean words. She packed her school bag with her dress for the school function and other needed accessories and some money to get some delicacies and has a hurried breakfast while dismissing her mother's questions. Taking her bicycle, she waves goodbye to her mother and starts her journey to Sarah's house. She is determined to fulfill her promise to make herself more beautiful. Sarah's parents leave for work early in the morning, leaving Sarah in the care of a friendly house help, Rosie, who is in her 50s and loves both Anika and Sarah alike. Anika positions her bicycle near the front porch and rushes to Sarah's room. She is waiting, and on seeing Anika, she is gesturing for her to come quickly. Anika runs up the stairs, smiling at Rosie auntie, who encourages her to hurry. Sarah grabs Anika's hand and leads her to her room. She brings her to the dressing table, which is filled with cosmetic items. They exchanged a brief look, and then Sarah asked Anika to change into the beautiful light peach gown that has a mermaid touch. Anika feels good in this dress. The flares at the knee make her feel like a mermaid with a human touch. As Anika adjusts her dress, Sarah arrives with cosmetic creams. Anika is unfamiliar with these products, but she endures their application. Sarah applies foundation cream and other creams, making Anika's skin feel different, but she tolerates it. Then Sarah works on her eyes with eyeliners and started to work on her hair. Anika has natural curls that she used to despise, believing that only straight and smooth hair is beautiful. Finally, Sarah uses small hair accessories and hairspray to complete the look. She declares, "It's great!" And Anika opens her eyes, stunned by her transformed reflection. She doesn't feel completely different, but she feels good. Sarah turns her around and admires her makeup skills, sighing and saying, "Something is missing." But she can't quite figure it out. Anika reassures her and says she already feels overwhelmed. Sarah still examines her closely, but Anika gestures for her to change and get ready, fearing they will be late for the school function, which is their special school day. And Sarah always wanted to plan this day perfectly. She is tall, prefers contact lenses to glasses, and aspires to become a fashion designer. Sarah emerges with the same type of gown but in a deeper shade of peach. She begins working on her own appearance and hair, and after a while, she said, "I'm ready," as if in a movie. Anika smiles and they take a selfie before leaving for the school in Sarah's car, as the costume isn't bicycle friendly. The driver drops them off at the school's main gate and they wave goodbye to him. Now Sarah and Anika walk towards the school entrance, which is beautifully decorated with flowers. Anika receives compliments from some students whom she really knows for a while. She is happy and slightly nervous about what lies ahead. Anika received appreciative glances and somewhere telling or whispering that she had transformed into someone entirely new. She felt a mix of happiness or nervousness. She's rather confused about that. Her eyes actively searched for Dave, but he was nowhere in sight. Sarah, while chatting with her other friends, noticed Anika's restlessness and suggested, "Go and check the library. He has a speech today. He might be busy with that. Go on, Anika, you can do it." Encouraged by Sarah's work, Anika decided to give it a try. Meanwhile, Sarah had been entrusted with the responsibility of helping the dance contestants with their makeup. With her elegant dress and striking appearance, Sarah was determined not to spoil her own look. She informed her classmates that she would guide them in doing their makeup quickly, and the other girls nodded in agreement. Sarah was skilled at saying no when necessary, a trait that Anika struggled with. Anika's kindness was often exploited by her male classmates, something Sarah didn't tolerate. She would often confront Anika about her behavior, but Anika usually responded with a smile, avoiding conflict. In those moments, Sarah would say, "Okay, I'll be around to protect you, my kind princess." Now, Anika embarked on her journey towards the library, her heart racing with anticipation. She had never tried to talk to Dave before. She felt that he would never even notice her existence. For some unknown reason, today she felt an uneasy feeling in her stomach, even before seeing him. She wondered, will he ever look at me? Will he smile? These questions filled her mind as she navigated the bustling school grounds. As she reached the third floor, she knew the library was to her left. She took a deep breath to ease her tension, but her heart continued to beat rapidly, as if it might leap out of her chest. Entering the library, she spotted Dave's bag on the side table, which made her both happy and nervous. She began to move further inside, discreetly scanning the corners of the bookshelves for any sign of Dave, but he was nowhere to be seen. She reached the last row of books and was about to turn left when she heard the chatter of two of Dave's friends. They were known for making fun of girls who showed an interest in Dave. Anika couldn't afford to become their target, so she started to walk back. Suddenly, one of Dave's friends, Denny, noticed her and called out, "Wait, miss." Anika froze in place, unable to move her legs. Her heart raced even faster. Denny reached her and stood in front of her, both boys laughing heartily. Anika summoned the courage to ask them, "Why are you laughing at me?" The boys struggled to respond as they continued to tease her. Eventually, Denny managed to catch his breath and said, "So you are the one going for the first place position in fancy dress competition, oh?" He signaled to the other boy with an exaggerated expression. He continued, "She's going to be the star of fancy dress competition, not the type you're thinking of." Both of them laughed and motioned for her to go. As they passed her, Denny remarked, "She's not the type she wants to be. Poor joker." Anika's face turned crimson, her cheeks burning with embarrassment. The confidence she had mustered just moments ago had vanished. She felt like an outstanding joker, and not in the way that she had imagined. Without saying another word, she tried to flee. Tears welled up in her eyes, and she eventually managed to run out of library. The librarian, somewhat disturbed by the sudden wind, continued his work, unaware of the events that had just occurred. Anika turned left and headed towards the stairs leading outside the school. She had no energy to face the world again. As she glanced back, half expecting someone to follow or stare at her, she bumped into a person. Her eyes were still blurry from crying as she helped the person up and stammered, "I'm sorry." She wiped her tears away and saw Dave standing there, understanding that she had accidentally bumped into him, causing him to fall and his books to scatter. She tried to cover her face, which probably appeared even less appealing after her crying. Dave kindly reassured her, saying, "It's okay." He heard his friends laughing and the remarks. On hearing them while standing in front of Dave, Anika lost her patience. She just did not wait to say anything. She sprinted towards the exit. She didn't think of taking her bag or calling Sarah. She just left the school. As it was a school day, she never needed to enter any details to leave. She started walking, the words of Denny and his friend making her feel as if her soul were being pulled out of her body right now. Tears streamed down her cheeks. As she walked, she started to walk towards the park. It was her favorite place, where the shadow of tree offered her a sense of safety, often overlooked by others, but cherished by her. At the main entrance of the park, there was a woman standing with a plate of cookies and a small girl dressed as a little bunny. Anika needed to pass by these individuals to reach her safe zone. As Anika walked towards them, the woman smiled at her in a welcoming gesture, but Anika found it completely disturbing. However, upon seeing Anika, the little bunny girl waved with a warm smile. Anika felt a brief moment of happiness as the little bunny girl approached her with a cookie in the hand. The girl gave it to Anika and said, "Hi, big friend. Take this cookie. It's a lucky cookie and it brings you luck. After you receive your luck, give this to the good person that you meet. Pass luck to them." By telling this, the little bunny girl jumped in happiness, and Anika was momentarily transported back to her own childhood. With the cookie in hand, Anika entered the park and walked as if under a spell, moving towards the farthest left corner. When she reached her favorite spot, she placed the cookie on the stone bench, which was her favorite spot in the park. She sighed when she saw the flowers and tree. Anika began to cry again, but she stopped her and she felt like she needed to wash her face urgently. She just went near the washroom and came out by wiping her face with a tissue. She felt like her skin could breathe again. Turning to the tree, she said, "I'm sorry, Mr. Tree. I feel sorry for going along with this makeup stunt. I'm destined to be the ugly joker for my whole life. Denny told me I'm a good joker, and the other one said I would win the fancy dress competition." Anika's tears welled up once more. "Mr. Tree, do you ever regret existing in this world?" "Well, I feel really sorry for being born. I don't deserve any happiness in this life. I was stupid to have feelings for Dave. He saw me at my worst, and I felt like becoming invisible." Anika continued, "Is God really mean towards me?" She remembered the day, 3 years ago, when she was prescribed glasses, and a classmate made fun of her appearance. "From that day until now, I have been living like a fool, a joker. I hate myself." Anika cried. Suddenly, a voice interrupted her, saying, "You're wrong, Anika." Anika adjusted her posture and looked in all directions but could not see anyone. Again, the voice said, "A crying girl loses her beauty. Haven't you heard?" Anika stopped investigating the owner of the voice but responded, "Which I don't have. I'm not in fear of losing it." The voice smiled and Anika caught a little irritation. He said, "Sorry, I overheard you." Anika felt heat rising to her neck, but still felt a numbness. And for some reason, she felt a sense of peace listening to the stranger's voice. She said, "That's okay." The man replied, "Is it okay, miss? Shall I come near you or do you want me to stay here behind this tree?" Anika cleared her voice and said, "It's all right. I'm okay. You can come." Finally, she heard some rustling sounds of dry leaves, as if he was walking towards her. She saw a tall man, probably in his mid 20s, walking towards her with a smile. He had a headset and a water bottle. She assumed he might be here for an walk, but she tried to check the time. Her watch seemed to be missing, and she couldn't recall where it had fallen. Seeing her expression, the man said, "It's 4 already." Anika widened her eyes. She had never felt that time was flying by so fast. He placed the water bottle near her and sat beside her. Anika tried to smile, but embarrassment filtered her expression. The man smiled and said, "Actually, it's you who is cruel towards you. So the whole world reflects back at you with such mean behavior." Anika felt an urge to smash his head with a water bottle, but she controlled herself. As if reading her thoughts, the man suddenly took his water bottle away. Anika squinted, as if trying to get him to speak, but he smiled and said, "Don't try to beat me with my own bottle. My mom today cursed me, so." Anika smiled and said, "No, it's not." She felt a bit sorry for even thinking of beating him. The man continued, "Actually, your curly hair or your glasses are not the problem. The persons who made you think like this are the biggest problem." Anika gave him a confused look. The man questioned as if she was free to have a walk with him. Her brain was jumping between thoughts, screaming not to go with the stranger. What if he is a thief or an antisocial element? Screamed her mind. But she felt safe with him, feeling a confidence she hadn't experienced in years. He asked about her school, but the direction they were walking was kind of opposite to the school. Anika stopped in between to assess her decision to follow him. As if reading her mind once again, the man said, "It's okay, Anika. I have no intention to kidnap you. I just want you to get a bunch of white flowers or roses that goes well with your dress as a gift for our small encounter." Anika smiled and followed him. They entered the nearby flower market. The man asked the vendor with white roses to take about 10 of the best ones to make a small bouquet. Anika observed the different flowers and the people coming to buy them. The flower vendor told them that he needed another 5 flowers to complete his order. He asked if they could wait for another 10 minutes because his son was already on his way to bring some bunches of white roses. The man agreed. Meanwhile, Anika had forgotten about all her worries. The man asked Anika about her favorite flower. She replied, "It was jasmine." He nodded appreciatively and asked why she loved it. Anika said it's the fragrance that made her forget her worries. He told her that he disliked the jasmine because its fragrance made him feel dizzy. He continued to disparage the jasmine flower as much as he could. Anika lost control and with a dominant tone replied, "Just because you can't see the beauty of jasmine doesn't mean it's unworthy. It's the most beautiful flower, and it will always be, no matter how much you hated it. It has its own special significance and doesn't really look forward to your attention or recognition." After telling all these words, she felt very confident after years. The man smiled as if he had seen something very wonderful. Anika told him that she was basically scolding him and asked why he was smiling. He said, "It's exactly what you forgot years ago, and now on the verge of keeping the dignity of Jasmine, you remembered it." Anika stared at him with confusion. He continued, "The same applies to you. Put yourself in position of Jasmine." Anika blinked with confused expression. He went on, "As Denny told you that you are like a joker, it's not the truth. It's his mentality, not your problem. And when another one told you about being a fancy dress competition winner, it's his mentality, not something that defines you." Anika concentrated deeply as if sitting in a chemistry class. He continued, "As a person who loves roses may see Jasmine as nothing special." He told Anika that everyone has their own mindset and their ideas. And it is our responsibility to take the needed and to let go of the rest. We should not see ourselves in the eyes of others. It's the biggest problem. He said, "One of your classmates made fun of your glasses just for fun. But from that day, you lost your confidence. That's why you always entertain others' mean words by filtering them with your own insecurity." Anika started to analyze his words. Every time someone said something harsh, why am I ready to run away rather than stopping their wrong behavior towards me? Asked Anika herself. Every time when classmates used my kindness and exploited it, why haven't I said no to them the next time? Did I encourage them to be mean towards me? If so, I have done the more cruel part towards me. Anika felt sorry. After his dialogues about roses and jasmine, while she was thinking deeply, suddenly the flower vendor in front of her moved to his left to get the rose flowers from her son. Anika saw his son, who could be a schoolboy, she thought. But still, the thoughts were pulling her inside. When she was about to turn towards the man she came here with, she saw a mirror and a reflection in it. To her utter surprise, she did not feel sad or panicked as she had for the first time after years. She started to see her reflection with happiness, or gratefulness, or calm. She couldn't pinpoint it. She saw her dress, which suited her very well. Her glasses, which she had felt were a big threat to her face, were now winking at her. She was very comfortable wearing them. She remembered her reflection from Sarah's house after the makeup. At the time, she felt a strange feeling, as if something was incomplete. But now, even after washing off all her makeup, she felt complete. She couldn't understand the reason, but felt at ease after the years. She kind of felt that this day was one of the wonderful days. After many years, she felt happy seeing her beautiful curls. She smiled, and suddenly, to enhance her beauty, a small bunch of roses touched the frame along with her reflection. She turned to her left and saw the man, or she would really like to call him a magician. He smiled, gesturing to the small rose bunch. 10 flowers from nature, as if it gifted these flowers to Anika to celebrate her reborn confidence. The man said, "Come on, let's get back to the park. I missed my favorite water bottle." Anika smiled and walked towards the park. Now she didn't see the little bunny girl or the woman with the plates of cookies. She just lost her cookie. A sudden thought flashed in her mind. She ran towards her bench, but to her surprise, the cookie was still in its position as if she left it before. She smiled and took it. He took his water bottle and smiled at her and asked, "Your fortune cookie that bunny girl gave?" She nodded and gave it to him. "The little girl asked me to pass this to the good person that I meet today, after welcoming my miracle or luck. I know if I absorbed your words completely, but I feel happy being myself for the first time after years," she explained. The man accepted the cookie and he took her to the school in his car. She got down from the car and waved goodbye to him. He gave her the cookie from his pocket and she said, "No, it's for you." But he clarified, saying, "This is the cookie that the bunny girl gave me, telling me that this cookie is waiting for someone. So I should follow my heart and give it to the person whom I really feel like. I think it's you that this cookie awaits." Anika, before getting to answer, heard Sarah's voice, so she suddenly took the cookie and said goodbye. He left with a smile. Sarah came running to her and hugged her, apologizing for not knowing that she was being bullied by those two idiots. Dave told her about it. Anika smiled and hugged her, saying, "It's okay, Sarah, I'm fine. Completely fine." Sarah held Anika at arm's length and scanned her face, noting that her makeup was missing, yet she looked very beautiful. Sarah said, "What's the magic that touched you to become glowing with beauty now? What happened?" Their conversation was interrupted by a male voice, and both looked to their right. That came Dave and his friends. Anika, on seeing Dave, didn't feel anything disturbing anymore. She could now see his eyes, and she literally doesn't really look at his friends. She just smiled at Dave. Dave handed over her watch, and now she remembered where she lost it. It was during that she bumped into him, could have missed it there. For some reason, she didn't feel nervous anymore around him. Dave gestured at his friends, and they both came forward saying, "Sorry, Anika, we were just joking, not meant to hurt you." Anika just looked at them with a confidence and said, "But mean words do hurt. It's better to use good words. And from now on, your mean behavior is not gonna work on me. Better be good or face the consequences." Denny stood there frozen, and the other boy shook Denny, asking, "Has she undergone a transformation or something? She left as a rabbit and now came back as a tigress? What happened?" Dave started to smile at Anika without realizing it. Anika smiled back gently, thanking him for the watch. Dave said, "It's my pleasure." Then he caught Dave's neck and asked, "What, now you are falling for her? Why do you smile now, as if you won $1 million lottery prize?" Dave yanked himself away from them and said, "From today on, better behave or face the consequences." Denny and the other boy stand there with frozen looks. And Denny said to Dave, "Oh man, the little rabbit that entered the magic hole came out as a tigress with an aim to steal your heart, which she already did, I think so." Dave smiled and said, "Then let it be there," and walked away with a sweet smile. Anika and Sarah were in a stadium hall, sitting together, eating delicacies and watching the dramas and dance programs. In between, Anika just stared at the small bunch of roses. White roses? Sarah noticed it and asked, "Who was he that who was he that drove you back to school? Did he give you this? What for?" Anika smiled and said, "He is a messenger of life. I don't know who he is. Why did I even talk with him? I don't even know his name." Sarah said, "Oh, it's interesting, like a fantasy story where fortune kisses the Cinderella in an interesting yet mysterious way." Anika just smiled and suddenly remembered the cookie. She broke the cookie and found a small paper with a quote. Sarah now dancing to the song. Anika, meanwhile, read the paper, which said, Acceptance lands you in the world of miracles. Anika felt that life had really gotten her into the land of miracles by fixing her mindset. She thought, So, yes, Mr. Mysterious Man, this cookie was made for me. Seeing Anika smiling, Sarah became very happy, hugged her, and both started to dance. Anika feeling the freedom, the confidence, the magical touch of life after years, right now in this moment. The mysterious man from Anika's life entered his house, and his mother asked him if life got anyone to kick him because of his strange ideas, as if thinking that life is happening to everyone and there is nothing to worry, everything is in order. She was literally shouting, but he was not in a mood to argue with her. He just entered his room and took out the cookie that Anika gave him, opened it, and read the line on paper. It said, Your magician soul, your touch makes the most beautiful blooms. Your mission continues, and you meet life's biggest wonder. He smiled. He saw his heart smiling. He, the leading psychologist, always believes in talk therapy and makes wonderful shifts in the mindset of people with his wonderful approach. He feels happy. Rohan, aren't you hearing me? Asked his mom. Rohan mumbled, I'm not Rohan for someone today. Maybe a mysterious man? And smiled at his reflection. Then again his mother called, Rohan! And he replied, Yes, Mom, I am. Life is magic, Mom. By telling this, he reached the dining table. His mom asked him to stop, or else she wouldn't serve him food. He gestured as if closing his mouth. His mother asked where he had gone, as she had been trying to reach him but couldn't get through. He told her that his friend had asked him to meet and then suddenly cancelled the plan. On the verge of returning home, he just saw a small squirrel and was actually got attracted to it and was kind of following it. Then he met Anika and explained everything. His mother finally said, Only life talks with you and lets you be the magician? To which Rohan answered, No, you want to listen to life with patience. Then you can sense it. Both smiled and concentrated on nourishing their health. The end. So, friends, I really hope you enjoyed the story. So, try to listen to the whispers of your life and as well, try to understand the deep meanings from it. Just think about it, friend. By telling you all this, your moon friend is vanishing with a very last question to you guys. Friends,